Tonight we are going to talk about the skills of the world's most powerful speakers. If you are anywhere on social media, if you have a business where you have to go out and speak in front of people, if you are an individual, you present yourself to the world every day. And it's so important that we all understand that the world is truly our stage, and we want to present ourselves like the bosses we are or the bosses we want to be. So I'm going to talk to you about that tonight because that's kind of what I do. That is a part of what I do. So who am I? I'm sure you're asking. My name is Valencia Daniel. They call me the Game Changer. I'm an international trainer, an award-winning speaker. I'm a bestseller author and your power performance coach. But what I do is I use my expertise in neuroscience, change management, and leadership to kind of give you this opportunity to do exactly what I'm doing today. I'm going to tailor my trainings to individuals just like you so that you can truly just go from average into excellence in that space. And speaking is one of the things that I love most. Your ability to communicate with others, to truly show up strong so that you finish strong in your life and business. Tonight I have about five things that I really wanted to go over with you. And then if we have time, I'm going to make sure that I also give you some bonuses. So if you are really ready to see some of the things that you can do to truly accelerate how you show up in your communication skills, I need you to do hashtag Girls Ignite. That's hashtag Girls Ignite. And we are going to get this thing started, this party started. So I'm going to use my glasses tonight to make sure that I can see what I'm reading. But number one, I need you, if you really want to use the skills of the world's most powerful speakers, I need you to listen to know what's relevant and needs to be said. Did you get that? Listen to know what's relevant and needs to be said. See, a lot of times we often speak to be heard, and you've already started off wrong if you're just speaking to be heard. You need to know what people want to hear. You need to know kind of where they are in their headspace in order to be able to speak to it. So if you are going to be one of the world's most dominating speakers, if you're going to show up strong in your speaking skills, if you're going to show up strong and people really want to hear what it is that you have to say, you're going to have to pay attention to exactly what it is that needs to be heard. What am I saying when I say that? Say if you go into a meeting and you're trying to talk, right? You're talking over everybody. When you go into a meeting, you're going to have yourself an agenda and you're going to know what it is that you want to say. But listening to hear what people need to hear will kind of pivot that conversation so that even though you have an agenda, how you address it to bring up those bullet points that you have on your agenda will change everything on what your delivery is, how you say what has to be said. Say if you're here on Facebook, I have my agenda in front of me and you have the ability to speak to me. If you start to ask me questions, and I want you guys to ask me relevant questions, things you need to hear, if you need some clarity, I'm going to read off your question and it's going to pivot or change what it is that I have to say. But if I pay no attention to what it is you have to say, and I only show up and give you what I want to say, then we're not having a conversation. I'm not keeping it relevant, right? Yes, absolutely. But that's what happens all the time. And so that's what I love about the power of real live video If we go on to maybe YouTube and I come into the studio and I just record what I have to say, I'm just a talking head. It's really all about me giving you what I think you need to hear. Hey, Deja, right? But Deja, if I'm just paying attention in a live video, now I'm making it relevant to you. And that's what I think we need to do more of. Even if I'm doing a speaking engagement, I have a speaking engagement tomorrow. When I stand up in front of them, I'm going to have a PowerPoint behind me. I'm going to have what their leaders thought that they needed to hear. But I'm going to totally be paying attention to what their questions are. I'm going to give them the opportunity to raise their hands and ask questions right in the middle of my presentation, because I want to be able to pivot and hear what it is that they think is really relevant. Not just what their managers thought would be relevant. And I'm going to bring that stuff up, absolutely. But I'm going to listen to what they feel they need to hear. That way, that training is going to truly be dynamic to them. It's going to be in the moment. It's going to be tailored to what it is that the person is saying. Right here on Facebook, I know this lady that I follow, and she showed you how to do real dynamic presentations and use, iOS to give videos. But often I want to ask her questions right in the middle, and I can't do it. So a lot of times I will still ask the questions, but she's not really there. It's not really live. It's a video that she's showing live, and that give and take just doesn't happen to me. So a lot of times I'll get a notification that she's gone live, and I won't even tune in. As much as I love listening to what it is that she has to say, hey, Elder Carmen, I won't go on live because I know she's not live, and I can listen to it at any time. So guess what else happens? I'll forget to go back and look at her video. It's not live. It's not that give and take. It's not relevant for me. And that's what we have to do if we want to be some of the world's most greatest speakers. So now, listening to what's happening live, say if you're giving a speech, you can also pay attention to how the people are starting to respond to what it is you're saying. That's still that live dynamic give and take, because people are able to speak to you with their body language even if they can't raise their hand and say anything in the moment. You can pivot right in the middle. Thank you so much, Dallas, for both inviting and saying hello. I want you guys to say hello to each other. I'm going to do my best to read your comments, and I want your questions. So here's some good stuff for rules of engagement. Thank you, Elder Carmen. Here's some good stuff. When you write a question, I want you to copy your question just in case I'm not able to answer you right away. So I might be in the middle of saying something and I can't read it off right away. I want to get through the content, but I also want to be able to answer you, because remember, I'm saying this stuff. I'm being in the moment. I want to be relevant in the moment. So when you write a question, copy your question, and if I don't get to it right away, go ahead and paste that question in again. You get, I think, up to 3 times where the question will come across and I will still be able to see it. And then later, if you do it, I think the 4th time, then the question is actually even invisible to me. So know those rules of engagement. All you'd have to do is change a couple words, and then again, it will be visible to me where I can read it off and answer your questions. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. We must focus. The focus will always be on service. As a person who is trying to speak, trying to teach, trying to be relevant in the moment, my focus is always going to be on serving you. If I focus on serving you, then I am dynamic to you. If I focus, again, only on my stuff, guess what? It's only relevant to me. I'm not being relevant to the people who are speaking to me. There are so many times, you guys, when I will go live and I will have maybe 2 viewers. I will boost that. I will leave it up for other times for people. I go back in and there are many, many people who are DMing me and asking me questions. You see how that give and take can happen? Now I can go back in and I can answer the questions. But because my focus is really on talking to you, on looking past that dot and imagining myself speaking to a real audience, it really does make the conversation still dynamic for those people who are hashtag replay viewers. You see how that works? So I'm going beyond what I'm doing right now, and I'm speaking to those people on the other side of the camera. And so I'm going to say to you right now, hello to all my replay viewers. You see, I'm talking to you, and I'm looking beyond what's happening right now. Hey, Carmela. Hey, Isis. And I'm able to speak to the camera and speak to those people who are on the other side. All right. So I need you to put a 2. Put a 2 in the chat if you're ready for me. That's right, it does make a difference. It makes a big difference, Elder Carmen. And I think you're one of those people that really do go beyond the camera and start talking to the people on the other side. Hey, Carmi Poo, how are you? And how is your lives going? I'm getting lots of feedbacks on Carmela. You guys follow Carmela. She has her own show. She is my daughter, and she is doing a fantastic job going live on her pages, and truly, she's got a real show going on. So I want you guys to follow that. Make sure that you have audience connection. What does that mean? Audience connection. I already told you about keeping it relevant. I already told you, you're welcome, sweetheart, about just really trying to connect with the people, but it really does matter with your eye contact. How many times have you guys ever gone on somebody's live and instead of them making eye contact with you, talking to you, being engaged with you, from the moment you go live, you need to recognize that you are live. I have gone live and the person is actually not paying any attention to the camera. They're not really live and in the moment. They're looking down. Sometimes they'll kind of look up and say, oh, hey, y'all, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm just inviting people. It is so annoying, and it makes me lose interest because I don't know how long that person is going to be before they actually start to engage with me. And after so long, I start to say, they're not talking to me. They're talking to themselves. They're online to just, thank you so much for sharing, Isis, to just engage with themselves. You will lose your audience. If you are truly going to be one of those world famous speakers, it's all about the person on the other side of the camera. I'm serving that person, right? If I am speaking in a speaking engagement, I wouldn't go up on stage and start looking other places. The same is true if you're live. But they did that to me when I was live this weekend. So I had to speak on Friday morning, I think it was. Was it Friday morning, Dallas, that I was speaking? And the Black CEO people had cameras all set up for us to go live. And we were going live on YouTube, right? And so I'm standing up front and I'm looking at the people in the back and I'm looking at my assistant and I'm waiting to be able to go live. Thank you, Dallas. And the lady says, I'm sorry, we're still working on a few other things, but you're already live. What? I'm already live? Oh my God, Dallas. I don't have power. What's happening, Isis? I don't have power. And I need to figure out how to get some power going. Sorry, you guys. Ugh. I feel like I'm one of those people right now. So I'm talking about going live and they're moving on. Oh my goodness, what in the world? I know, Isis. And I was like, what do I need to do? How can I make this work? And they were just like, sorry, we just weren't ready yet. And I'm standing in front of a camera and they're not ready to go live. That is insanity. Something that absolutely does not work. I'm going to move on just in case I'm having trouble with the power to make sure you guys get all of this good content. Oh my gosh, it doesn't matter how many people are in front of you. I need you to give 100%. So I had to stand up in front of a camera. I knew that Black CEO had this following of over 250,000 people. But when I started to speak, I had about 5 people in the room with me. It doesn't matter how many people you have, either on your live or in this instance in a room. I need you to give 100% of you, as if there were thousands of people following, because you don't know how many times your video, what it is you have to say, is going to actually present to how many people. Can you imagine what it would be like to not care because I only have one viewer? So I only have one viewer. I've seen that so many times. There's only one person on here. I don't know. So I'm just going to wait. Have you ever gone on those? I'm going to wait until more people are coming in. We'll go live. Go ahead and share and invite. I'll go live when I have 50 people on here. And they're making the people who are on there wait. You're not loving the people that you have in front of you. If I have one person that I am speaking to, I'm going to give that one person 100% of what I have to say in the moment. The world's greatest speakers speak from their hearts, even if they have an audience of 1 or 1,000, you guys. 1 or 1,000. You don't know how many times that video is going to be shared beyond that moment. If I'm very lackluster and I don't care because I only have one person, then I'm not going to give my best. I'm not going to speak my best. I'm not going to be the best. Okay? Are we picking up? You picking up what I'm putting down tonight? Because I want you guys to get these things because it absolutely matters. I remember when I first started speaking. I started speaking in Tennessee. I saw that customer service was an issue, and I decided that I was going to go out. I was going to teach on customer service, and I was just going to give the audience what they need. The first time there was about 5 people. The 5 people that were there were people that I had invited to be there. But I had rented this room and I'm going to give something on customer service because I thought it was something that was needed in the community. I spoke that first time and somebody came up to me that got to see it and they asked, "Can you give this again?" Of course I can. I decided I would do it. Rented the room again, same thing on customer service, and this time it's about 10, 15 people. But more people, right? I still stood there and gave that presentation as if everybody in the community got to see it. Now, this is not a video that can be shared. This is an audience that's in front of me. But after that presentation, some of the merchants in the area came up to me and said, "Oh my God, this is awesome. We'd like our people who are in our organizations to see this presentation." Now I'm thinking to myself, this is my second time and I've already rented this room twice. So I'm speaking to the merchants now. Absolutely, I'll give it again, but can you sponsor the room next time? I'm paying for this space. They said yes. Guess what happened on the third time? Standing room only. So I was telling you how much I had to continue on, no matter how many people were in the audience, as if I had audience full of thousands. And because I went live that first time with 5 people, that next time with 10 or 15 people, I got to the place where I had standing room only. But if I did not do that, it would have been a problem. I hope we're able to stay live on this one, Dallas. Don't know what happened. I'm going to continue on, you guys. So the next thing was we have to I already talked about not being distracted. Tell the story of what happens to you. So I need you to sometimes don't be afraid to repeat yourself so that you position yourself as the expert in a given area. So you guys go live all the time. Don't be afraid to tell your story and to repeat your story. It used to get to me really bad when I would feel like I was saying stuff. I used to say it to Dallas all the time. I feel like I'm saying the same thing again and again. But the truth is, it's my area of expertise. And there are often not the same people online every single time you speak. So don't be afraid to repeat yourself, to tell your story again and again and again, because there are often different times and different people on that broadcast. Sometimes you might even want to post or promote that broadcast again and again and again because it's so different in the audience, or your audience members are so very different. And it makes me feel some kind of way. I would go on and I'm telling the same stories and the things that happened to me. But guess what? I was just at a conference and one of the guys really explained it. Oh my gosh. It's giving me a timeout, Dallas. It's telling me it's about to give me a timeout, and I am not sure why or what to do. So if it goes away, you guys, I'm just going to come back until it works, until we get to the end. If we go out, I am going to come back until it's over, right? I'm just going to keep on moving. Tenacity is the trick, and I don't mind trying again and again and again. Something is going on with Facebook, and it's actually giving me a message to say that it's about to time out. Hey, Janine, how are you, love? How are you? All right, you guys. I said don't forget to tell your story again and again and again, but also I need you to develop sound bites. Now, what are sound bites? You guys have heard me talk about flowing in your zone of genius. That's one of my sound bites. It's the next book that's coming in. And so I find a way to bring that in and to talk about it often because it does lead to the next thing. You've heard me say things like, to the greatest degree possible, be who you want to be today. Stop waiting for other people's validation. Validate yourself. I could speak on that time and time again. That's what you have to do. I need you to start to develop your sound bites. And what that means for me is every time it's about to close, I can't take it anymore. Oh my gosh. Every time I have something to say, I make sure that I write it down in some of my notes. I look over those notes again and again, and then I'll bring those things in when I'm speaking. The same thing is also true for quotes. Learning quotes, what someone said that's really powerful, that resonates with the story that you have to tell, sometimes gives you credible sound bites, really powerful sound bites that not only make you powerful in your presentation in the moment, but it'll also make you very powerful when you're taking those videos and using the sound bites to create things like your sizzle reels or advertisements. Does that make sense? Okay, those are so powerful when you are using them in your speaking engagements. It adds credence and credibility to what it is that you have to say. So when you're thinking those moments, when you're flowing in your zone of genius, when you're talking on the phone about something that you care about passionately and it really means something to you, take those sound bites, write them down, tweet them out, go back to them and use them in your speaking. It really makes you come off really strong. And remember, we always want to show up strong so that we finish strong. Another thing that you might be able to do is use an antithesis. Somebody write that down, an antithesis. So a thesis is kind of your statement, that power statement, right? An antithesis is taking that thing and flipping it on its head. For instance, President Kennedy used to do that. He did it all the time. Obama does that. I try to do it. So he says, ask not what you can do for what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And you know how much we remember that. Thank you so much, Isis. And antithesis. Perfect. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. It's a powerful statement because it's an antithesis. It turns it on its head. It takes that thing that's standard and then it says, do the opposite of that thing. People tend to just remember that when it happens. So when you're speaking, if you can think about that, it does. It makes it very powerful and it makes it very catchy. So when I say, stop waiting for people's validation. Validate yourself. When I put that on my shirts, people actually say it back to me often. Stop waiting for people's validation. Validate yourself. It's an antithesis. It's a statement, that thesis statement, and then it turns it on its head. Stop waiting for people's validation. Validate yourself. It's so very powerful when in the middle of speaking, you think of something, just turn that thing on its head. What people are thinking, and then the thing that they can do the opposite, they will remember what you said in that moment. So you'll take them outside and they'll put the camera in front of them and they'll say, what is something that you remember about Valencia Daniel when she was speaking? She said, stop waiting for other people's validation and to validate myself. When President Kennedy was speaking, he said, oh, let's do this one. Maya Angelou, when you know better, do better. That's an antithesis. It's so powerful, it sticks with you. Any opportunity that you have in your speaking environment, whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you're on anything in social media, whether you're live, if you say something that is standard, something that's happening in the audience, and turn it on its head, it will be a powerful moment and people will remember what you said. All right, you guys, I'm going to head to a bonus moment because I don't want this Facebook Live to go away on me, and see what we can do to add some bonuses. Bonus, study people who you love to hear. Somebody write that in the chat. Study people who you love to hear speak. This is what that will do for you. It will teach you a little bit about yourself. Have you ever heard of a song, something, if you're a singer or people, if you like to sing, and there are certain songs that just resonate with you? They usually resonate with you because it's more your style, right? When you look at and listen to people who you love to hear speak, you will learn a little bit more about your own speaking style. Pay attention to what it is that you like about those people that speak. Pay attention to what resonates with you. I have this person that I speak to all the time, Sandra Scott. Sandra comes in and she loves to hear me telling stories. I love to tell stories. And the reason I love to tell stories is because it's kind of the peanut butter, the glue that I can give you. I can wrap my purpose. I can wrap my points in that story. I can tell a good story. I love to tell stories. I remember one time when I was working in corporate, and we had this great big meeting, and they told me, my boss came to me and said, tell a story. And I was thinking to myself, tell a story? What does she mean? I stayed up all night trying to think of stories that I might be able to tell when we had that big meeting. I could think of nothing. But when we got in the meeting and people started talking about, the other company starts telling us kind of what their vision is and what their mission is and how they want to serve us, I was able to come up with a story right in the middle. And then I understood what she meant, because I was able to look at them and say, has anybody ever seen the Stepford Wives? And they were like, yeah. That's what this is. It's like the Stepford Wives. You guys are telling us kind of that the sky is blue, like in the Stepford Wives, and that everything is perfect. But I haven't taken the pill yet. I haven't gone through the machine. I know that the clouds are gray. I know that the grass is brown. It's not all beautiful like you would like me to believe. And so, it's not the land of Stepford. They understood in the moment, just by me telling that, exactly what we meant. You're telling us what your mission and what your vision is, how you would like to see your company. But I'm telling you how the company is truly delivering. How powerful was that moment? The room went silent. And I understood then exactly what my boss was trying to tell me. In the middle of a moment when I'm trying to make a point, a story usually comes to mind. And in telling that story, I'm able to wrap my point up in the story where people can see it as clearly as I do. So that's something that you can do too. In the middle of trying to make a point, tell the story so that we can see the vision that you see. We can see it as clearly as you're seeing it, and you can make your point more poignant, really, really hit the hearts of people, and make yourself more powerful in the moment. I hope I am making sense and you guys are truly picking up what I'm putting down. Because when I give my Present Like a Boss class that is 3 days long, these are the things that I will bring you in and give you the opportunity to work on. But you have the opportunity to work on it right at home, to think about what it is you have to say, to think about how you're saying it, and truly deliver. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm glad you're loving it. Really deliver more powerful information, right? It is what it's all about. If you really want to be among the most powerful people, then you need to remember it. Because guess what? These are the things that I need to remember too. When I'm going live, I am usually not this comfortable in front of the camera because I'm focusing on what I want to say instead of focusing on servicing you. Tonight, I'm totally focused on giving you good tips that will really be powerful to you. And guess what? They make me more comfortable. I'm sure they're making me more relatable. You are picking up what I'm trying to say because I'm no longer presenting to you. I am conversing with you. Make it a conversation and not a presentation, and the real you will start to come out. It doesn't matter anymore kind of exactly what I look like or exactly what I sound like. Now I get to be my authentic self, and you will connect more authentically with me. And the people that don't aren't my audience, right? They're not the people that I'm actually trying to teach. I know you guys are getting this stuff because I'm feeling it. It's an emotional piece for me, and now I'm able to push that emotional piece to you. The last tip that I am going to give you, I've been doing it the entire presentation. I have fluctuated in what I say and how I say it. I go up and down with my voice. I use my hand. I use the power of the pause. I can speed up what I have to say when I have something to say, but I slow down when I want to make the point. I look at you and I allow myself to draw you in to what it is that I'm saying. The world's most powerful speakers are known for how they deliver those speeches, on how they're able to draw people in to what it is they have to say. On not mattering, it doesn't matter to me whether I stutter. I stutter in my conversations. Give yourself permission to stutter and mess up. That's not what matters. What matters is how you're able to deliver. I stick my head to the side when I want to bring you in. I look directly in that camera and past that dot, and I really start to connect with you. I fluctuate on my voice, on the volume of it or the softness of it. When you have something to say, if you look the camera in the eye and you say what it is that you have to say in a powerful way, very often you'll be able to deliver in the way that you want to deliver. You will be more dynamic in what you have to say because you'll say it in a way that will be dynamic to the people in the audience. All right, you guys, I think I've given you enough. I could never go through everything that I have to say as it relates to speaking, but I want you to be your most powerful self when you're sitting in front of a camera, when you're standing in front of an audience. I want that girl power to ignite.